Thank you everyone for joining us for Your Social Now What, a webinar hosted by IDEA, the International Diaspora Engagement Alliance, and Reina Valenzuela, CEO of Starfish Global. My name is Sarah Youssefnajad Gallagher, and I'm the Program Officer for IDEA, which is a public-private partnership between the U.S. Department of State, USAID, and Calvert Foundation. We work with diaspora communities to support their development efforts in countries of heritage. We're really thrilled to have Reina here with us today again. She was with us yesterday doing a webinar on email marketing, and the recording of that will be online if you missed it. So today Reina is going to take a closer look at the most popular social media networks, including Facebook, Twitter, and a couple others. You'll learn about the benefits of each, how to create great content. You'll get tips for photos and videos, and how to use analytics tools to maximize your engagement on these platforms. So just a bit more about our speaker. Reina Valenzuela is an MBA, a business management consultant, and the CEO of Starfish Global, LLC, which is a company facilitating business growth through technology and digital media strategies. Reina coaches entrepreneurs on how to expand their presence on Main Street and online, and she's a certified mentor for SCORE. Her company is also a certified solutions provider for Constant Contact and Hootsuite. So with that, I'll turn it over to Reina.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I see some familiar names already logged in, so welcome back. And today we're going to talk about, what do you do now that you have a presence online, you have already a website, and you have a Facebook page, a Twitter account, but then you're stuck, you don't know what else to do. And we're going to find ways to develop content and give you some ideas on what to do when you're online so you can be active and also continue the engagement with your community. Remember, this is for nonprofits as well as for-profits organizations. Then the businesses need to engage with their clients and their customers, because at the end of the day, you need to have that constant contact with your customers to be on top of mind, and for them to think about you the moment they're ready to buy. So the same way for nonprofits, you want to be engaged with the community, with your supporters and your advocates, and make sure that they're there and they know that what you're doing, so that they are available to help you when you are ready. I'm going to tell you that we are also branching out to Guatemala, which is one of my partner's native country. And so we are part of the diaspora of the IDEA project. So we're really excited to share all this knowledge we have with the communities we're going to be servicing, everywhere. And our point of contact in Latin America is going to be Guatemala. So it's really, really great news for us. So let's move on now. We're going to cover social marketing networks such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we're going to talk about email and how that ties into the rest of the marketing process. We're not going to talk too much about email because we did that yesterday, but we're just going to cover a few touch points there. Creating and curating content for your online accounts, and then photos, word, images, and what to do with all these content that you can develop and share online. So let's move along with Facebook. Facebook is the largest network. It's worldwide and it's very visible. The thing with Facebook is that although it is the largest network, not everybody is there. So if you think your audience is on Facebook, remember to make sure you poll your audience, find out where they are, because you need to choose the right channels. You are looking for a way to spread the word, magnify the possibilities of your reach, of your engagement. And the way to start is with the people you already know, that already know about your business, about your organization, and the causes and the programs and everything you work for. Now, bringing them into the Facebook arena and saying, okay, we're here too. Like us, follow us, share. It's going to be a process. So Don't just create a page and expect it to just happen overnight. You need to engage. So create and share the right content. And this is keeping in mind what your brand identity is. If you are engaged with children or the youth, you might want to have a more upbeat and funny and inspirational appeal. So you want to keep that brand and that identity across all channels, not just the logo, not just the colors. You want to have the same message across all these channels. Now, beware that Facebook has, and we're going to talk a little bit more about their algorithm, but not everybody will see your messages. So you want to be proactive in engaging your audience so that your followers will see what you post. And we're going to talk a little bit about Facebook Insights tools so that you can measure the success of your campaigns. Let's move along here. So what works on Facebook? I mean, this is a no-brainer. No-brainer. Videos, absolutely. Photos, oh yes. The more and the better quality, the better it is for you because people will be sharing them. And the status updates, it's still good, it still works, but don't be too lengthy in wordy with whatever you post, because people don't have that time, and their attention span is very limited. So you want to have very short videos, less than 1 minute, beautiful images. And if you can put 2 or 3 together, especially if you're working on a project, put them all together and it looks really nice. They have different ways to now showcase images. And again, your text, when you're just putting status updates, you want to say something that will ignite a conversation. So present an idea, a question, something that will trigger engagement. Facebook has an algorithm that's really tricky. So you may have 500, 5,000 followers or friends, but at the end of the day, only a small percentage of them will see them. Actually, the average is 2%, and you may get greater engagement if you tag them directly. HRank says, okay, we'll show your posts only if it's of interest to your fans. So you have to make sure that you are sharing something that will actually be shareable and welcomed by your fans. The post performance among other users is also one factor that they will consider, and how well your previous posts have done within your Facebook page. So they really evaluate your activity, the types of posts, and what your followers, your friends like, and how well they are engaging with your page. So all this comes into place, not just because you posted is going to get out there. And of course, when you do post something and you mention somebody, or you have to have that relationship already established with them so they can reshare. Now, the Insights tool that Facebook has gives you a lot of information. It takes you from, okay, what posts are doing better. You can actually see what hours or what days it's better to post because people are engaged. Engagement is about likes, shares, or comments, and you will see the number of engaged users and also their reach. The reach is really how many people will see this, not just your fans, but also their followers, their friends, how many more people get to see it. So the number of impressions. So looking at all these metrics, you have to really decide, okay, what type of posts are better, what are performing better, and also what hours of the day people are online and actually see and share. So you want to look at the hours when you have the highest activity on Facebook, when your friends or fans are online, so that you can share around those times so they can see it. Now remember, attention span is very limited, so you want to capture their attention with a great image or a nice video. When you connect with somebody, always face to face. I mean, when you have a supporter, a customer, ask them, if they are on Facebook, if they can go ahead and like your page, and what type of content they would like to see. So that way you start getting information as to what, and getting ideas as to what people would like to see on Facebook. Now, what do you do next? You have the page, you have all this, but posting is really very challenging when you have limited time. So find out what is already working with your fans, what they already like and share, and then create content the way they like. They like videos, so create some video clips. It doesn't have to be something super sophisticated, but it should be something that is really relevant, and it showcases what you're doing, what you're all about. Now, there is a scheduling tool on Facebook that will help you manage your time, and you can schedule things ahead of time. Now, beware when you schedule ahead of time, you might be scheduling something like for Monday of next week, and then something happens over the weekend, like, a bombing. And then you don't want to be saying something awkward on Monday that has nothing to do with the entire world is talking about. So you want to maybe go in and modify your post so that it aligns with the topic of the day. So beware when you are posting in advance. You may have to go back and monitor what's happening on Facebook, what happens in the real world, so that you can adjust your posts. Now, evaluate those insights monthly. I would say monthly. Quarterly may be too long. And this will help you, especially at the beginning, to get a clear idea when to post. If your customers are not online and you're posting, in the middle of the day and nobody's really checking things out because it's not a peak period, then don't post during those times. So post maybe at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day when people are checking their accounts. Now, people check accounts all the time. It's kind of tricky. So test different times of day and see what gets the best results. Let's talk about Twitter. And I'm a big fan of Twitter. I started using Twitter in 2009, and I found so much value into it. In fact, I got one of my first contracts through Twitter. So I will talk a lot about Twitter, and I can maybe help you if you have a specific strategy you want to implement. A few things you need to be aware. On Twitter, you have to be sharing very simple messages and short messages for sure, but be concise, but also be informative. And when you share a message, it may just say, here is a wonderful opportunity to volunteer, and give a link to the website. Sharing the website link really helps them identify, okay, this is the organization that is it's doing this. If for any reason you are not the person on Twitter, and you're not the same, somebody else is on Facebook, somebody else is on Twitter, you have to make sure things align. So try to tie in your Facebook account with your Twitter account, so whatever goes on Facebook automatically ends up on the Twitter account. And whenever you do this, have somebody else also engage and retweet. On Twitter, if you want people to engage and retweet or comment, get some feedback, you want to mention them by their Twitter handle. And that way they will see the mention and they will react to this. Always on Twitter, be helpful. You are in this environment, you are really one in millions, but Twitter has a very weird combination, because a good number of accounts are really fake accounts, and a lot of accounts are just other people trying to market and sell their services. So you want to connect with your audience. So start checking where they are. You can find out who likes Twitter. You can do a quick survey of your followers, of your fans and friends, and you can even send an email and say, where are you? We'd like to know, so we can connect in your the channel of your choice, because people have different ideas about Twitter than they do about Facebook. So not everybody's in the same space. In fact, the audience on Facebook is a little bit older. I mean, I know that I got into Facebook to check up on my kids. Now my kids are older, and guess what? They are the older crowd now on Facebook. Everybody else, all the younger kids, are going to Twitter and Instagram. So that's what's happening. You got to look at where your audience is, your ideal customer, your ideal supporter that you want to approach and start creating activity and build up your presence so that people start recognizing your brand and recognizing the things you're doing in the community. Use Twitter analytics to see what's working. And I will show you, I think in the next slide, Twitter content that works still does those images and the short tweets. Very short, to the point. Use hashtags. Hashtags really started with Twitter, and they align comments within a conversation. It's like grouping different comments that are with the same hashtag in the same conversation, so people can follow what others are saying. So not just your followers will know what you're saying, but others that follow the same hashtag will see what's being said. So you'll be sharing with people you are not connected with. Then along these lines, keep in mind that you have a very small space, right, for hashtags, for a message, for a link. Shrink those links and make those hashtags. You don't create just any hashtag. You know what I mean? I'm eating bananas is not a good hashtag. You might want to say healthy snacks, and that's a good hashtag. Go see what kind of impressions are there for these hashtags. There are many tools that you can use to find out what's popular or what kind of audience a hashtag has, so you can actually share in the space where people are reading. Be helpful. Share those tips, link to the blog post or the article you just posted on your website. Share facts, stats, tips. People love success stories, inspirational quotes and images. So share all these things online. People are really very social, and they really follow and share. Sometimes you just have to ask and say, please retweet. We're looking for more volunteers for this event. Also, when you are, if you have a business and your focus is on services, Twitter is a great way to service your customers, because they may be posting a question or a complaint online via Twitter, and you want to be responsive. So being online means not just posting for others to see, but for you to respond, to react, to interact with your customers. So don't think that you can just post and disappear. Participate, share your knowledge, start a conversation or follow a conversation, and jump in. Twitter is really very open that way. People can just say whatever they want, and you know, if you care about what they have to say, then you show them that you care. On social media overall, I always say, if you want to get people's attention, if you want them to pay attention, you have to give them something of value. So whether it's information, whether it's something that education, information, and inspirational, quotes, images, even funny comments. I mean, jokes, lighthearted jokes, nothing really on the borderline, silly, but always share things that people will find of interest and entertaining. And remember that although you're on social media, you want to sell and you want to gain supporters and gain customers. You're not there just to sell. In fact, self-promotion is not a very good thing, and people recognize it right away and they tune you off. They could block you, actually. I'm going to move along here. Twitter analytics, it's hard sometimes to find the analytics tool, but I posted there in this slide. I show you where to go find the analytics tool on Twitter. You have to log in and put the analytics first, and then twitter.com, and it will show you the performance of your tweets. There are a couple of other tools that I use to see the performance of a hashtag, for example, and that's called hash tracking or a tweet reach. So these are things that you can use to see what's really working. And I highly recommend that you use them, because you will find that who are your top, your best tweets and your top followers, so who engages with you the most and who has more reach within your network. And these audience insights will really help you learn what your community is doing and identify. I was talking about this yesterday, especially for nonprofits. Identify your brand, future brand advocates, who's really big fan of your cause, who's a great supporter of your events and your programs, and then approach them and see if they can become your brand ambassadors, your advocates, and help, that way, in a way, you can sign them up as volunteer to help online, to help retweet or promote, or just, expand your reach online. Now, if you're on Twitter, what do you do next? Well, keep track of what is the best, what are the best tweets and what is the best hashtag that you are using, just to make sure that you are correctly using what's out there. Sometimes you may use the wrong hashtag, or you may not have enough room to put all the hashtags you want. So you may have to tweet them more than once to say this hashtag, this number of hashtags will go with this, and then another set of hashtags with the next tweet. So having a calendar, knowing what are you tweeting about and what hashtags that you are using, is really very helpful, not just for you, but also for your volunteers, if you're engaging people to volunteer. Sometimes you have an event and you want to be out there to be visible. You may want to engage or bring in a volunteer to say, hey, can you live tweet? Can you be sending messages and tweets and pictures and video clips when we're doing this event, so other people can see what's happening? Or you can have, before your event, you can have a tweet chat, which is a Twitter party where everybody tunes in at the same time, uses the same hashtags, and then you can see everybody talking about the same topic, that your event, your program or project launch. So you will have more activity online. Again, evaluate your analytics. I say monthly, but if you have an event that's coming up and you're using a specific hashtag, you might want to evaluate that immediately after the event to see how much reach you had. And if that turned into anybody volunteer, anybody messaging you, you can actually see what was your most popular tweet and if who clicked on those links that you tweeted out. It's very important to have that because you want to measure it. You don't want to just be wasting time. My God, social media can just eat up your day if you let it. So you have to be out there with a purpose, with a mission, and with the right tools to analyze in the metrics and get some results that way. Let's talk about Instagram. This is one of the most popular among the youth. I don't use it that much, but I'm telling you, all my nieces and nephews have moved out of Facebook and are now in Twitter and Instagram. Instagram is fun, but it's with you. It's on the go. It's in the present, the moment. So you're taking pictures and sending them. You're taking video clips and sending them on the spot. So this is good if you are having an event and you want to promote it that way as it's happening. But you want to establish a presence there, and you want to connect with the people that already are engaged with your community, with your organization. So always find ways to identify who is on Instagram and how to and connect with them, follow them, and have them follow you back. So share images that are really stunning. Now remember, everybody's sharing pictures, so your pictures have to be really nice for them to notice. So look for good pictures, and share what's happening, because if you're in the moment, they're in their cell phones. This is the one of the disadvantages of Instagram, that you have to have your cell phone open to send. Some tools like Hootsuite would allow you to send and schedule them. You don't have to be, logged in to send them. But again, is the environment, the culture is that you're there, you're in the moment, and you're sharing as it happens. So be careful with this. Make sure that you're using it wisely. And if your audience is there, make sure you're there. I have a couple of clients that know that their audience checks in after school. So they'll be out there after 3 o'clock sending images and messages and video clips at the same time that the kids are already out of school and online. So keep that in mind. Analytics doesn't exist in this platform, but you can use the Econo Square to check on the stats of your Instagram account. So content that works, we know the photos that stand out, those great images, and word images. If you want to say something, well, create those inspirational quotes over an image and share that image. You can just type and send a message, a text message. And those video clips, everybody loves them, right? Make sure that they're less than 45 seconds, so you have to make it count. And when you are on Instagram, those videos already are moving. When you open it up, you see them and they're already playing. So you have to have those first few seconds really make an impact with your video. Now, putting your audience in the moment, right? You can send behind the scenes, especially if you have projects going on. And when you have something that people really want to be a part of, like an event that's taking place in another country, you want to be a part of that, but you can't be there in person. So sharing the behind the scenes photos of what's happening as it's happening, people will be very appreciative because they'll feel like, okay, I'm sharing in the moment. I'm there with them in spirit, but I can also see what's going on. Those videos are very valuable at that moment. Educate them about what the purpose and the mission of your organization is, because this is the way you engage more users and also develop stronger relationships that lead to donations and contributions. Use those hashtags, and there's very broad number of hashtags you can attach here because you don't have that limitation of 140 characters. And always tag your location so that people know where you are. I'm going to move on now to the Econo Square. This is the one where you can check on the metrics. What are the tap engagements and the images that perform best. And it will also tell you the best times to post because you will see those results. The hashtags, sometimes even putting one hashtag that has more followers and it's going to perform better. But you also know that a lot more people will be posting on the hashtag, so you have the attention span is reduced tremendously when so many people are just posting with the same hashtag. So checking on Instagram, look at those images that tell the story of your business. You can start sharing, especially for projects, how it all got started, how it became an important topic or a cause that you decided to pursue. So tell a story, and also have your volunteers, your advocates, tell the story. I am now engaged with an organization that's doing a fundraiser. And, they said to me, would you do this for us? And I said, of course. But I started sharing how I became involved with this organization 17 years ago. So for me, it's just a natural thing to do. So find those people within your organization that can also share your story and their story as it relates to your projects and your organization. Always use those relevant hashtags to make sure that people find you, because people follow hashtags. And find those, the stats, what's really working and what's the right time and these days that, people are more active, and evaluate those analytics. At the beginning, I always say, if if you can do it monthly, even, every 2 weeks, do it. You need to do it because you need to see what's working. It's trial and error at the beginning. So don't be shy. Don't be scared that you're going to mess up. Just try. And if it doesn't work, you make sure that you improve on that. Now, the beauty of all this is that you will use and repurpose your images from Instagram or from Facebook. You can tie them from Instagram to Facebook, from Facebook to Twitter. But also keep in mind, you want to have people coming back to your website because that is your virtual home. So have them always return to read more at your website as often as you can. And track those analytics, how many people actually, are referred to your website from these other networks. Keep your brand identity. I cannot stress this enough. Why? Because there are a lot of scammers out there, and they're actually killing the goodwill of some people because they're out there trying to get, easy money. So it hurts your organization whenever somebody out there is posing or pretending to have a cause and collecting money. So what you want to make sure that you differentiate yourself from the rest. You want to have your brand image, the content and across the board is consistent. Your messaging is consistent, and you always have those credentials on your website. You are a 501c3, say it. You have an annual report to show, tell it, download our annual report. Do you have a project? Do you have a sponsor? Do you have a donor? You want to have information that showcases that you're a serious organization and that people can trust you and donate for a good cause, and that they know the funds are going to be used for that cause. So don't take it for granted, especially if you're not one of those big national organizations, because when you are a small nonprofit trying to make a difference in your community will take notice. But in order to grow, you have to reach outside your geographic boundaries. You want to go to another, outside the state or the country. You want to see that how people will see you. You want to make sure that they will see your company as a reputable organization. So where are you
Reina,
today?
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Reina, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but we have about 10 minutes left for the presentation portion.
Okay. So where are you today? Well, you may be in one or all of these channels: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube. You may be in all of them, but you have to remember, keep your image consistent, right? Keep your messages consistent with your brand identity, with your organization's mission, and align all your marketing efforts across the board. If you're doing something, an event, and you're announcing it in the newspaper, the same thing goes in all these channels. And email. And I'm going to skip over the email slides because we talked about this a lot yesterday. And if you didn't get to see this presentation yesterday, you can always go view the recorded presentation that we're going to be sending out the link to it, so you can check it out. But always align everything, including email, because email is the one thing. Facebook, people will have a few minutes to see it and then it's lost. Twitter, talk about seconds. You don't have the attention span. It doesn't stay there long enough for somebody to notice it, because more images, more messages are coming in. But on email, it actually stays in the mailbox for up to 5 hours before people get to read it. So don't underestimate the power of email. I'm going to skip this because we talked about it yesterday. And again, you will see this. The simple recipe for success for a great email is right here. And then the question of open or delete. How do you get recognized and how do you get your messages open? When you are emailing, people have one option, and that's a split second: delete or read. Okay. So you want to be open. You want to have people open that email, but also engage with that email, click on the links and images that you send out. So give them a good reason to pay attention. Creating and curating content. This is a standard recipe that Constant Contact shares with the audience because this is what really has worked in the industry. The best practice is for you to have 50% of the content you share related to informational and educational pieces. You can ask questions and use images to share, but you also have that information available to the customer within your website. So you're sharing information and educating the public. But those informations, those questions, images, and videos get the most likes, shares, and comments. That has to be entertaining, educational, interesting to the public. 30%, again, useful, interesting, and informational. You want to have 80% of your content for your audience. What they want to see is not what you want to tell them. I know if you're selling products, if you're fundraising, you want to promote your event, you want to promote your services, your products, but don't make that everything you put on out there, everything about your business and what you're promoting, what you're selling. It has to be 20%. If you have 10 posts that week, make sure 8 of them have to do with the people and for the people and what they want to see and what they will find interesting. And then 20% about you. I'm going to move on to curating content. Curating content is really just sharing what others have out there. But in this case, you have to give them the credit. So if you retweet, mention who tweeted the message first, the link or the photo. So curating content is all about sharing what's out there in other sources. Where do you find that information? Well, it's in the news. You can sign up for mailing lists. You can read blogs and share. You can get Google alerts and say, I want to know more about this topic. So whenever something comes on Google, published and Google captures it, it is you get an alert saying, here it is. Somebody posted about this. So you get those alerts in your mailbox. So signing up and gathering information, and then you are curating what's really worth reading, and you're sharing that with your audience and saying, I found this very useful, or I agree with tip number 5 of this list of tips and tricks that I recommended here. So always do that, but always give credit to the original author and its source. This across the board, you want to increase brand awareness and you want to boost the loyalty of your audience, your public, your contributors, your volunteers. So consistently do this across the board, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Make sure you constantly putting the spotlight on your volunteers, putting the spotlight on your audience, the people you serve, so that people can appreciate what you're doing for the community. And again, at the end of the day, you want to see those donations come in and people attending your fundraisers. So that's the one way you can, that 20% messaging can be about your cause and your fundraising efforts. So when you start working on a campaign, you start thinking, okay, what are you going to use first? And then you talk about, okay, what kind of content are we going to share? And then how are you going to share? If you're going to share through email, social media, the website, direct mail, or either, even traditional marketing channels. So you want to find out, once you have, make a decision what you're going to do. And you have to decide, okay, what are the channels we're going to use? What are the hashtags you're going to use? What are the images? So it's all consistent across the board. Talking a little bit about photos, word images, and video. Instagram, PicStitch, and WordSwag really are good for editing images if you want to put text overlays, or you want to play around with your photos and create collages, it's really good. When you don't have images of your own and you want to share images that are out there, here are some suggestions for websites that have free images. But sometimes you have to give attribution to the author or the photographer, and sometimes you have to mention where you got it. My all-time favorite is pixabay.com, and they don't require attribution, and you can use it for all commercial purposes and even play around with the photo and use it that way. It doesn't matter as long as you download it. If you want to sign up, you can do that. And I use it so much that I actually make a couple of donations a year just to thank them for having these great resources for me to use, great images. Now, when you're creating word images, you can overlay a nice picture with tips, with quotes, with an announcement, with an invitation, with a coupon, a special promotion. You can always do that. Share images as often as you can. When you're talking about images, this is the guide. I won't repeat the whole thing because you're going to get a copy of this slide. Look at the sizes. They're not the same across the board. Make sure you get the right sizes for the right channel. Video. There are many ways to share video. As I said, if you have those videos on YouTube, guess what? You're going to embed them into your website and then also share your website link. Or you can take the YouTube link and put it on Facebook, or share it on Twitter. The idea is for you to be sharing constantly. Streaming video is another story, because now you are showing behind the scenes, you're live, you're using the video that you have if you're using Facebook Live or if you're using Instagram. So you're taking a video, instead of uploading it to YouTube, you can actually just stream it live. It's very useful. You can use Periscope to capture videos, Meerkat and Blab. Snapchat is also very useful for this. You can try it. And again, you're not going to be a professional. This is going to be a very short video. It doesn't have to be the most amazing thing you videotape, but you have a meaning, to share, something meaningful to share, and give a meaning to this event. Share how that relates to your mission, to your organization, so that it's not just shooting video without any value. The next steps are easy. Create a calendar. Okay, work on an editorial calendar that will say, all right, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, this is how often we're going to do this, and who's going to do it, because at the end of the day, somebody has to sit behind a desk, behind a computer, and start sending out those tweets, right? And creating those collages or videos. So you can use different tools. The list that you see here, social share is one tool that is used with Constant Contact. You can share your emails directly to the social media channels. Hootsuite is one of my favorite tools to use for sharing from one platform to all the channels. Like I could share up to 3 channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and share from Hootsuite directly, and it's a free account. If you want more channels, more than 3, then you have to use the paid account. But you can easily use the full Hootsuite modules, platform, without any restrictions, except only 3 accounts. Again, take time. You're gonna need time for this. You're gonna need at least 20 minutes at a time. When I do my scheduling, I sit down on a weekend and I can schedule up to 2 weeks. But then I have to get in and engage like 50 minutes, 20 minutes at a time, and I don't do it for more than 3 hours a week. So if you think about it, you may be doing routinely 2-3 hours, but if you're going to have a main event, you may want to devote more time and have a team that's going to share that load. That's it from me. Thank you, and I'm ready for questions.
Reina, thank you so much. If folks can send their questions through the chat function, we'll have Reina answer them now. Just a couple of points I wanted to highlight. My sort of takeaways, Reina, and the things that I don't always think about when I'm managing social media for IDEA and for other entities is the thing you said about you can't just post and then disappear. You have to stay engaged. And related to that is that you can't just schedule posts and then walk away from them. You have to be conscious of current events and other things that are going on and be willing to make adjustments. So I thought those were really helpful tips.
Yeah, when you schedule, when you schedule, you actually have to go back and respond to likes or comments as they happen. So you have to be very in the moment. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Perfect. And then I just wanted to share one other resource that we use a lot, which is canva.com, canva.com. And it's basically a really simplified Photoshop, and it's good for making flyers, and we use it for our images on social media and in emails and things like that. So just That's another thing I'd recommend.
Awesome. Yeah, I use Canva a lot too.
Yeah, I love that platform. So yeah, there are a couple of questions.
Okay.
Yeah, they're coming in the private. You guys can send your questions to everyone or just to the speakers, however you like. So someone's asking if Twitter has an algorithm like Facebook does, or if that's
no. Twitter, everybody that has an account that's following you will see it. If they're logged on at the moment, remember that when you log in, you may have already 100 messages and you don't get to see each one of them. So impressions can be deceiving sometimes because you will say, oh, 10,000 people, 10,000 impressions. That doesn't mean that everybody, saw it when it happened. So there is no algorithm. Everybody gets to see what you're sharing. Everybody who's following a hashtag can see what's being shared. But they have to be on to be actually seeing that message.
Okay, got it. And then a couple questions about other platforms. Someone is asking about LinkedIn, and another person's asking about Snapchat. So maybe, what are your thoughts on the relevance of those platforms and the uses for nonprofit type organizations?
Well, Snapchat I don't have that much. I have to be honest with you. I don't use Snapchat, and I know that there's some organizations that have used it and find it a little bit difficult because, again, the video functionality sometimes it can be challenging depending on what event you're trying to broadcast. So it would be awesome to have somebody that has more experience using Snapchat to share with that. On LinkedIn, actually, I'm a big fan of LinkedIn, and if you can all connect with me on LinkedIn, that would be awesome. Reina Valenzuela. We have to be aware that LinkedIn has the more mature audience in a sense of it is an older audience in some cases, but it's also company owners, all professionals, and the platform is used for business and professional purposes. So sharing on LinkedIn is very useful if you want to reach out those CEOs or the company leadership, because they're there, not just recruiters and not just students or new people who are looking for a job or connect with other professionals because they're looking for a job. You can actually connect with people that are at executive managerial levels, that are decision makers. So connecting on LinkedIn, even if you just for the presence of your company, having your company there, I think is a great idea. But you have to be mindful of what you're sharing. If you have a great event coming up and a great program that you're just developing, you want to showcase that, go ahead and do it. The tricky part about LinkedIn is that, if you're doing you have to be the executive working for or the manager working for the organization that is actually creating the LinkedIn page, because it is, individuals then creating a company page. So I guess the key person, leader in the organization, maybe the board of the president of the board of the director of the center, can be the one creating that LinkedIn page under their personal account.
Two follow-ups to that. So someone's asking about LinkedIn being good for donations. I would say no, because it's a professional networking site and people aren't expecting that kind of ask, and you might quickly get sort of decided as spam. That would be my thought on that. I don't know if you agree, Reina.
I agree. But if you are connecting with, and you're just announcing your event or a new program that you're developing, and you want to make the connections with, other people who are other professionals, you're not asking for donations on the spot, but you're giving your visibility to your organization and your projects. And who knows, the next time you need a new board member, or you need somebody that connects you with the right department that has corporate responsibility decisions, you never know. You may get the right contact through LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is good in that sense.
That makes sense.
And then
I just want to add one thought.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Just a thought about Snapchat. I would say, similar to how you were talking about Instagram, that photos are a good opportunity for people to get to know you, who you are, the people you work, the people behind the organization, that kind of thing. I think Snapchat could be used in the same way with photos and very short videos. It's a fun platform, and it's meant to, as you said, help to get to know you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next question. Someone is asking about more information about the Facebook algorithm. Can you maybe, so one thing they brought up is the part you said about how other posts or your performance with other people or something like that, how that's a factor. Can you maybe explain a little bit more about how that works?
When you think of LinkedIn, and this is also something that keeps getting revised. Okay, when you think that you know it all, then they change it. Their algorithm considers your engagement with your fans, and so not all the fans that you have in your page will see that message. It's only if it's of interest to them, how engaged they are with your page and with you. So getting them to like your page, sometimes you just have to say, did you see a post on Facebook? Go ahead and like it. We'd love for you to share it. So that creates a connection, a more direct connection with that fan of the page. So when that fan engages and it has past engagement with the page, then it's more likely that they will see the posting. And then when they engage with the posting, they like it, then other people that are in that network, friends of that fan, will actually see more of that. So it doesn't happen automatically. People think that, I have 500 fans and 500 of them will see it. It's really who's there and who has liked the page and who has engaged with the page in the recent past. So you have to be very present and very engaged on Facebook to see that difference. The other thing is, if you want to boost, pay a little bit of money to boost a post so other people see it automatically, then that's your choice. But organically, you have to be more engaged than just having likes on the page in order to have a broader and greater reach.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. And then another question on Facebook. If you have any thoughts about creating Facebook groups for fan pages, what's the most effective way to do that?
You want to engage with the existing Facebook groups that are already, are relevant to what you're doing. If you are a realtor, for example, and you want to be engaged with the Realtors Association page group, so you want to engage where other, people, like-minded people are, but also where others might not be. If you have a business, a local business, and you want to engage the moms in the community, you might want to go find where the local mom groups are and engage. So you want to find out who's out there. If you start your own fan group or your business, organization group, you want to know who's going to manage that group, who's going to be engaging with the group members or anybody that likes the group, and then make sure that you have stuff to share. Sometimes groups are closed groups or secret groups for a reason, because you have a team that's working on specific project and they're just communicating through that group. So it depends on the purpose of the group. So you want to define first why you're going to do it, and who's going to be part of it, and who is the target audience for that group, and what you're going to be sharing. So creating groups for creating a group doesn't make sense unless you have a plan, a strategy to make good use of it.
Great, thank you. And there's something brought up online. I wonder if you want to weigh in, Reina, about having personal and business accounts separated for these different platforms, and if it makes a difference for which one you're working with, or if you have a thought for all of them.
What was that? I'm sorry?
Sorry, the question is, should you always have separate personal and business accounts for these platforms?
Okay. Definitely on Facebook, you should have a different page. The Facebook page for your business or organization, and the Facebook page, a personal page, they're different. You don't have the insights tools, and you don't have a lot of other things on the personal page, but you only have them on the business page. That page will only show you insights if you reach 50 likes or more. So you want to first engage and get up to those levels, and then you're gonna see, have the visibility of the statistics. But you want to be able to have separate identities, because the organization page can be managed by several people, and you can assign admin roles to different people that can chip in and help out with the page. While if you are using it as a personal page, the only way you can have somebody else help you out is if you are actually giving them your username and password, and it's your personal page. So I don't recommend it. But sharing the admin responsibilities for a business page is easier to do, and it actually helps out, especially if you're going to take a vacation, you're going to go on a trip, and you're not going to be watching out what's happening and engaging with the community in that through that page. So keep it separate. LinkedIn, actually, I believe you can create the page if you have a star level personal page, and you have to have has to be in your profile that you're working for that company, or it's your company, and that you're involved with this organization to create that page for the company. Twitter, I had that debate with myself before, because I started with Twitter in 2009, and I developed a larger network through Twitter on my own. And then I said, now I have a business, I want to put it on Twitter. But if you go see my personal Twitter account has about 3,500 followers, while my business is about 500. So it's a difference, because you're more engaged. Your personality shows online. So I always recommend that you create these, but then you also engage with your friends and through the page. And what you post on your personal doesn't always. I may make some political comments on my Twitter account, but it's my personal account, and that it might not be suitable to post on my business page, right? So you want to have separate accounts, in my opinion, in order to keep your personality and your thoughts that you can share, whenever, if you're hiking and you get hurt and you want to post something, you're not worried, okay, oh my God, this is the business page I'm using. So keep it in mind, keep it separate, but also be active in both, because people will know you are the person behind it. There isn't some robot behind this page. It's an actual individual that is caring and sharing.
Okay, thank you. And the last question we're going to take, Reina, is about blogs. It's about using blogs to engage your advocates, and is it worth the effort compared to the other platforms you've described, the other platforms that are available to us?
I am a big fan of Blogger and WordPress. So I believe blogs work if you are sharing a lot of information, if you are an expert in an industry, or you have a lot of content to share. But posting it on a blog doesn't mean it's going to get automatic followers. So you still have to go ahead, make sure that it's shareable, that you go ahead and share that link in your social media channels so that, it reaches more people and people come to visit your blog. Sometimes the best thing to do is really to share key information on your blog, share it across all channels, and have people sign up for your mailing list so they can see the next article or the next post. If you are monetizing on a blog, you want to have a ton of followers on the blog and a ton of views, because that's what advertisers want to see, that, putting an ad on this blog will actually get, more, a larger audience and more people maybe checking in or buying. But for your organization, if you're not going to maintain the blog, then don't create a blog, because an abandoned blog does, more damage than good. It's my opinion.
Got it. Thank you, Reina. This has been really helpful insight, and I can tell by the engagement from the audience that it's been really useful to them as well. I definitely learned some things, even though I've been managing social media accounts for different organizations for many years. So
really?
Thank you so much
again
for joining us and for providing your expertise. And thank you to the audience for joining as well. We will share the slides and the recording and some of the other pieces Reina had talked about by email.
Hello, Sarah. Will you remember the PDF that I shared with you? If it's something they can download, because I didn't get to share that, I would like to give them the homework to go through this 2-page document. It's really on the screen right now. It's really easy to create a simple strategy for you to get started. So fill it up, take a snapshot or scan it, send it to my email, and my email is on the second page. And we can go over it, and I can give you a little bit more, individual attention and suggestions. So go ahead and use this as your personal tool, and this is a good starting point.
That sounds great. We will email that to folks as well when we send them the slides and the recording.
Okay, that's great. And send me an email so I can add you to my mailing list, and I can send you more information as the days go by. I usually send out an email blast once a month to share more tips and tricks, and not just on social media, but building your online presence overall, and lots of good information out there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Reina. Really appreciate it. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.